Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Demystifying Men with Rachel Davis, the Valentine's Day edition. Folks, we are upon the time of year where throughout the United States, as well as several other countries in the world, where today is the day that we celebrate love. Right? Valentine's Day. This is the day where you show the person that you love how much you love them by showering them with gifts, maybe taking them out to a really nice dinner at a fancy restaurant, flowers, chocolates, you name it, all in celebration of St. Valentine's Day. Now, if you're watching this show and you're saying to yourself, yes, I'm super excited for Valentine's Day, I cannot wait because I have someone in my life that I am excited to share the day with, then great, congratulations to you. And I wish you nothing but the best and that all of your Valentine's Day dreams come true with regards to having the love of your life shower you with chocolates and presents and gifts and everything of the sort. But we also have a separate population of people who actually dread this time of year. It's like literally the 14th of February could die off of the calendar. They don't want to have anything to do with Valentine's Day. They don't want to participate in anything in relation to love. And in a lot of cases, these individuals suffer from severe anxiety as well as depression on Valentine's Day because they may find themselves in a situation where they're single, they don't have anyone to share the special day with. It's a constant reminder that they're single and that they're single at a point in time in their life where they desire to have someone share their life with them. In other words, they're single at a point in time of their life where they really don't want to be single. And so if you fit into that category, then this episode is for you. Because this episode, we're going to talk about self-love, and we're going to talk about ways that you can show up for yourself in a powerful way to give yourself the love that you deserve for you and not necessarily be sad or unhappy because you don't have someone in your life to show you love in a way that you would desire. So I want to title this episode Surviving Valentine's Day because I'm going to give you key tips and concepts that you can use not only to survive Valentine's Day, but to show yourself the love that you deserve. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't begin to love yourself, and if you're not showing yourself love the way you deserve to be loved, the way you desire to be loved, then how is it that you're able to recognize when someone else shows you love? Or better yet, how is it that you're able to show someone else or to teach someone else how to love you, how to treat you? So we're going to delve into that topic today, and I'm going to share with you 12 key things that you can do for Valentine's Day to support you feeling loved and to support you showing others that you love how much you love them. So, are you ready? Great. So if you're unhappy during this Valentine's Day, during the season that's dedicated to love, because you're in a situation where you don't have the love that you desire to have in your life, or you may realize that you have been single for a little bit longer than you desire to be single, then have hope. And I want to give you this bit of encouragement to let you know that being single is not a bad thing. It really isn't. And I remember times when I was single, and when you start to change the way you look at things, then things that you look at really start to begin to change. And so being single is an opportunity for you to position yourself to find new love and to position yourself to find the love that you deserve. And another benefit that comes along with being single is that you are in a situation where you're not in a relationship with somebody that you don't want to be with. Now, I know for me, I've been in relationships with individuals who I did not want to be with. I remember spending Valentine's Day and other holidays being miserable and unhappy and in a relationship that I didn't want to be a part of, wishing and hoping and praying that I would be single so that way I could position myself to eventually find the love that I desire and deserve. So if you're single, I want to share a bit of encouragement with you. Just identify this period in your life as an opportunity for you to A, position yourself to find new love, and B, hold on to the truth and the reality of the fact that you are not in a relationship that you no longer desire to be a part of. So let's go ahead and delve into our singles edition for surviving Valentine's Day. All right, so ladies, I've got 12 tips to help you survive Valentine's Day during a pandemic. So tip number 1, I want you to celebrate being single. And yes, you heard me correctly. I want you to celebrate it. How many of us have ever been in a situation where we've been in a relationship with someone we didn't want to be with, right? How many of us have ever been in a situation where you've been in a relationship and the person that you were in the relationship with was a complete and total disaster, a complete and total disappointment, right? So if you position yourself to think about the fact that you're single right now and to celebrate the fact that you're being single, half the battle is already won. You're not in a relationship with somebody who doesn't deserve you. You're not in a relationship with somebody who you don't want to be with. And you're not in a relationship with somebody who's a constant and continuous disappointment. Identify the fact that right now is a time for you to get back in touch with you, to get better acquainted with who you are, to be in a position where you're learning yourself all over again. You're learning your likes and your dislikes. You're learning your wants and what you don't want. You're learning how to treat yourself so that you can teach somebody else how to do the same thing in return. So survival tip number 1 is learning to celebrate being single and not look at being single like it's a disease or like you have a plague or like you caught COVID. You want to look at it as an opportunity for you to look at it as a rebirth, so to speak, coming out of the old and preparing yourself to embrace something that's new and beautiful. So celebrate being single on this Valentine's Day. Survival tip number 2 is, ladies, stay off of social media. Do me a huge favor, and for 24 hours on February 14th, I want you to uninstall, you heard me, uninstall Facebook, uninstall Instagram, uninstall TikTok, uninstall Twitter, uninstall every social media platform that is going to bombard you with images of other people having a wonderful time on Valentine's Day with their significant other. If you're single and if this is something that truly bothers you and it spirals you into feeling depressed, why subject yourself to it? Why subject yourself to what other people are experiencing on this day? Turn off social media. It won't kill you to be offline for about a day or two. And when you decide to reconnect with the world, reinstall those applications back. And guess what? All is right with your world. You weren't necessarily exposed to just a nauseating amount of love that people are showing each other when you yourself are in a position right now where it's a very tough time for you to be single. So uninstall social media. Survival tip number 3. I want you to nurture your femininity. I want you to utilize this opportunity to get back in touch with your feminine self. I want you to utilize this opportunity to get back in touch with what makes you you, with what makes you feminine and soft and supple and juicy. You know, what makes you yummy. And for many of us, it's creation. Women are designed to create, right? A man gives you sperm, you give him what? A baby, you know? You have ingredients, and what do you produce? A meal. You have a house, and what do you make it into? A home. Everything that women do, everything that we as women do, we take something very small and we create something magnificent out of it. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we're in touch with our femininity. So how do you get back in touch with your femininity? Number 1 thing you want to do is create. So if you like painting, paint a picture. If you're into art, create some form of art. If you love to cook, create a meal. Whatever it is that you love to do, regardless of what it is, take the time for you to do that on Valentine's Day. Create something that makes you feel good about being you. Another way that you can also get in touch with your femininity is via your movement, right? Via movement. So move. Play your favorite playlist and dance. Stand in front of the mirror and move your body. Move everything in your body that makes you feel good. Move your hips, move your waist, move your feet, move your arms, and get in touch with what makes you you. Get better in touch with what makes you feminine through movement. So, tip number 3, nurture your femininity. We live in a world where we are constantly forced to function and dwell in our masculinity. So one of the best ways to show yourself self-love on the day dedicated to love is show yourself a little bit of femininity. Are you ready for this one? Tip number 4 is practice self-care. You want to take the time on the day dedicated to love to show yourself some love, right? Practice self-care. So do whatever it is that you desire to do to care for yourself mind, body, and spirit. Self-care can be give yourself an at-home spa day. Self-care can be getting your mani and pedi done. Self-care can be to get a massage at your favorite massage parlor. Self-care can be eating your favorite meal. Self-care can be indulging in your favorite ice cream. Whatever it is that self-care looks like to you, I want you to take the time and indulge in it. All right? Self-care is one of the best ways where you can relax, you can regroup, you can get recentered, and so that way you can also show up in a powerful way. Another form of self-care that I love to do is to sit and visualize. I love visualizing what it is that I desire out of my life. We live in a world where we're constantly being mentally stimulated. If it's not our phone, it's the television. If it's not the television, it's everything else that's going on around us. And so having the time to quiet my mind and to visualize what it is that I desire for myself and out of my life is significant for me. It is a huge part of my self-care. And I prefer to visualize with water. So for me, give you a little self-care practice that I do. I will fill the bathtub with some rose petals or flowers and Epsom salt, and I would submerge myself in the bath, nice hot bath, and I would close my eyes and I would visualize how I see my life in a year. I would visualize how I see my life in 5 years. I would visualize how I see my life in 10 years. So after submerging myself into that bath and having all of these wonderful visuals about my life and what is it that I desire to achieve in life, when I come out of the bath, I am fully renewed. I am completely restored, and I am ready to take on all of the tasks that are at hand. So self-care, 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 and practice all 3 of them at the same time, and don't get any one of them out of order. Ladies, tip number 5. On Valentine's Day, spoil yourself, right? Spoil yourself. Do whatever it is that you would expect someone else to do for you on Valentine's Day. Do that for yourself. I read an article that said on average, people spend roughly about $130 on gifts for someone else on Valentine's Day. $130 could be dinner and chocolates. It may be flour and candy. I don't know, you can't do too much with $130, but you can also be very creative with it. But nonetheless, that's the average amount people spend. Some spend more, some spend less, but $130 is the average amount people spend on Valentine's Day. So what is it that I implore you to do? Take that $130 and spend it on yourself. Buy yourself flowers, buy yourself chocolates, buy yourself candies, buy yourself whatever it is that you desire to buy yourself. Take yourself out to dinner and utilize that money to show yourself how you value you to you. And so spoil yourself. Take that money, invest in yourself, spoil yourself, and show up for yourself on Valentine's Day. Tip number 6, for my anti-Valentine Dayers, for my ladies who said, you know what, I really could care less about Valentine's Day, but everybody else seems to be all caught up in it, so I guess we'll figure something out. For those who really aren't that keen on Valentine's Day, but you find yourself in a situation where you're currently single and you may not necessarily want to spend that day alone, go to happy hour or again, we're in COVID, host a happy hour, host a virtual happy hour, or host a virtual anti-Valentine's Day party. We all have Zoom. We've been leveraging Zoom throughout this pandemic, right? Utilize that to have a group of friends get together and have a party virtually, or have a happy hour virtually. And make it so that one of the rules of entrance to this party is that one person that you invite has to invite another friend that's single of the opposite sex. So ladies, if you have a good girlfriend and you want to invite her to this anti-Valentine's Day virtual party, she can come. However, in order for her to get admitted to the party, she's got to invite a single friend of hers who's a guy. So collectively, let's say you've got 10 single ladies and they each find a guy friend that they know that's a friend, not someone that they're interested in, because that really would defeat the purpose. But to invite a friend that they want to introduce to other folks, invite them to the party or invite them to the happy hour and have a wonderful time. All right, and so if you're saying to yourself, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to have an anti-Valentine's Day party, but I want to do it in person. Great, you can host it in your home or at an establishment, maybe a restaurant, a bar, but just make sure that you follow CDC guidelines, right? Let's be safe. We are in the middle of a global pandemic. My public service announcement is make sure folks are wearing masks, ensure that, folks are spaced six or so feet apart, and that, all of the appropriate guidelines and protocols are followed to maintain safety, because safety is important and we have to have safety first. However, if you want to have a small gathering at your home with individuals that you know and that you're close with to have an anti-Valentine's Day party or anti-Valentine's Day happy hour, then have at it. I know this has been a very trying and taxing time for individuals who are single, especially for those that are living alone and aren't interacting with folks in the way that they would desire to. So, anti-Valentine's Day party is a great way to celebrate being single on Valentine's Day. All right, so let's take a break from the tips to surviving Valentine's Day and hop into our new segment, Ask Rachel. Ask Rachel is a segment where you, the viewer of Demystifying Men, can submit your questions about life, love, passion, intimacy, relationships, men, and everything in between, where you can submit one of your questions, and if chosen, your question will be answered on an upcoming show for Demystifying Men. So this week's question comes from Aaron in Charlotte, North Carolina. Aaron is 34 years old, and his question is, I think I just figured out that I'm in the friend zone. Is there anything that I can do to get out of the friend zone? All right, Aaron, I know you want to get out of the friend zone, and honestly, I don't blame you. Because being in the friend zone, if I may be blunt, is a clear indication that she no longer is passionate about you, or maybe never had any passion towards you to begin with. And I know that may sound difficult, but it's important for me to make sure that I'm completely honest with you so that you know all of the information that you need to know in order to make the necessary moves that supports you and your life and your heart, as well as your happiness. So what does it mean to be in the friend zone? Being in the friend zone simply means that she cares about you, she likes you, and she may even have love for you, but not in that passionate way, not in the way where she craves your presence from an intimate perspective, not in the way that denotes that she has deep desire to be with you, or she has a deep desire for your intimacy, or that she craves your love and your touch in a way that I believe you would like for her to have for you. So let's just look at the question in terms of understanding whether or not you can either A, try to establish that passion, or B, get that passion back. And so my answer to you is yes, you can try to reestablish passion if you guys had it at one point in time where you were dating and now you find yourself in the friend zone. Or B, you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know if she's ever demonstrated that type of passion for me to begin with. And so if that's the question you have, Can I help you, or can we get back to the level of having that type of passion? Yes. Part 2 to that question is, does that mean if we up-level the passion, you'll be able to get out of the friend zone? Maybe not. I'm sorry, Aaron, it doesn't guarantee that if you try to show up in the way that you think she would desire for you to show up, doesn't guarantee that you'll get out of the friend zone. However, if you want to attempt at getting out of the friend zone, here's a couple of things that I will share with you that could possibly help. Number 1, I want you to reassert yourself in her life as somebody who desires to be more than just a friend. I want you to reassert yourself in a way that demonstrates to her that you're not necessarily somebody who's available and who's accommodating and who deserves to be in the friend zone. I want you to start to assert yourself in a manner that denotes that you want to be the man in her life. You want to share with her the masculine traits and the masculine persona types that a woman would desire to have in a man. Asserting yourself in that way would demonstrate to her that you have the capability of being both her lover as well as her provider, all while also still being her friend. And that's a very healthy balance that most women desire to have in a man. Here's another tip I'll share with you is that you may want to start dating other women. If you find yourself being in the friend zone too long and you don't see the relationship going in the direction that you would desire for it to go into, then start dating other women. And I can almost guarantee you that if you're not out of the friend zone by her noticing that other women are interested in you, what'll definitely happen is that she'll perk up and she'll certainly take notice. And if there's any inkling of passion or any inkling of desire to be more than just a friend, she may start to have those conversations with you because she realizes that you've moved on. Last but not least, if you've done all of those things and she still has demonstrated to you that she just desires for you to be a friend, then move on. There's no point in sticking around knowing deep down inside you desire to be more than just a friend, but all she's willing to give you is friendship at that time. Now, if you value her friendship and you still want to be friends despite the fact that you've been relegated to the friend zone, then go for it. But ultimately, if you've demonstrated how you desire to be there for her and she still doesn't see it, or she still doesn't see you above and beyond just being a friend, move on and find a woman who will value you for who you are and who will enjoy having you in an intimate part of their life, not just as a friend, but as a lover as well. Good luck to you, Aaron. And now back to our 12 steps of surviving Valentine's Day. So tip number 7, find yourself a secret Valentine. Yeah, sounds fun, right? I liken it to how we have secret Santas and we exchange presents with secret Santas. Find a group of friends where you can have a secret Valentine and exchange presents with one another. And so that way, everyone can feel as though they received something special on Valentine's Day. Again, you want to follow the same protocols as Secret Santa. You want to put a cap on the amount of money that's spent. It's unfair for you to spend $100 where somebody only spent 10. Let's not do that. But nonetheless, you get the idea, you get the gist. A group of friends, a collective group of individuals who love and care for one another and who are single, exchange gifts on Valentine's Day. I think that's a great way for you to honor the tradition of Valentine's Day by giving a gift to someone you care about and yet position yourself to be around with people so that way you don't necessarily feel alone and you don't feel as though you didn't receive a really nice gift for Valentine's Day. Secret Valentine's it is. So tip number 8 in surviving Valentine's Day, start a group hobby. One of my favorite group hobbies is dancing. I love dancing. And if you're single, it's a great opportunity for you to meet other people who are single. I've taken dance classes before, and majority of the men that were at the dance classes were single as well. And so join a dance class. Let it be a form of dance that you like or you enjoy. It could be hip hop, it could be tap, it could be jazz. Now, if you want to learn belly dancing, just Just know that you're not going to meet any men there. But, salsa, something that's sensual and fun and that requires you to move and move in a way that supports your femininity, is a great way for you to develop a new hobby, meet new people. And I'm sure COVID safety protocols are in place. Folks are usually masked up. But nonetheless, it gives you an opportunity to get out of the house. It gives you an opportunity to meet other people. It gives you an opportunity to do something fun on Valentine's Day. And it gives you an opportunity to do something fun on Valentine's Day with other people. So find yourself a group hobby. Tip number 9, surviving Valentine's Day can be very difficult. But if you and one of your besties are single, why don't you guys take each other out on a date? Go out to dinner. Take another single girlfriend of yours and go out to dinner and go to a great restaurant and have a wonderful time. I know I used to do this quite often when I was single. For Valentine's Day, me and one of my besties would go out and we would celebrate each other, and we would go out to dinner and take each other out to dinner on Valentine's Day. And so while everybody else was in the restaurant, with their significant other, I was with my best friend, and I felt incredibly fortunate and incredibly blessed to be able to have a very good friend of mine that I can go on Valentine's Day with, share a wonderful meal, share some wine or maybe some other types of beverages. But nonetheless, I was out with someone who I loved. I was out with someone who loved me, and we spent Valentine's Day showing each other how much we care about one another and being friends and being there for each other. So, survival tip number 9 is take your bestie out on a date for Valentine's Day. Survival tip number 10. In case you don't have anyone that you can go out to dinner with, in case you can't take your bestie out on a date with you, then take yourself out on a date. Yep, I said it. Go out on a dinner date by yourself on Valentine's Day. And there's power in that. I'm going to give you a quick story of a woman that I know personally. Several years back for Valentine's Day, she was single, and she did not want to necessarily feel like she was a victim to the whole Valentine's Day fanfare. So what she decided to do is she went out to dinner, and she went to a local wine bar that also served food. And she sat at the bar by herself. She ordered her dinner for the evening, and she ordered 2 glasses of wine, right? And in her mind frame, her thought process was, I desire to have someone in my life. I desire to have someone else in my life. I desire to spend Valentine's Day with someone else. So why not make space for someone else in my life? And so what she did was she ordered 2 glasses of wine, and she sipped from one, but she left the other one there. And there was a gentleman across the bar who was observing her and watching her the whole entire night. And he thought someone else was joining her, hence the reason for the second glass of wine, because again, he was quite intrigued why she would have 2 glasses of wine in front of her. And so as he continued to watch her and observe her throughout the course of the night, he realized that she was having dinner alone and no one was joining her. And so right before she was about to pay for her check, he gathered up enough courage to walk up to her and said, "Excuse me." And he introduced himself to her, and he said, "I'm just curious, I've been watching you all night. You ordered 2 glasses of wine. You drank from one, but you left the other one there. I wanted to approach you sooner out of curiosity, but I didn't want to, make this an awkward situation in case you had someone who was joining you." And she shared with him, she said, "No, I'm here by myself. I'm single on Valentine's Day, and I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe in making space for who and what I want. And since my desire is to not be single next year, Valentine's Day, I made space for my future mate by having a glass of wine set aside for him as I ate my meal." Well, ladies, guess what? He was so intrigued by that story. He sat down and he said, "Well, may I?" And she said, "Absolutely." He started to drink the wine, and they sat and they had a great evening, great conversation. He ended up paying for her dinner. They exchanged telephone number, and guess what, ladies? She spent her Valentine's Day with him the following year and subsequent years thereafter that. If there's power in taking ownership in the station that you're in life, and not necessarily look at it as something that is unfortunate for yourself or not looking at it as something that can't produce a beautiful outcome. Step number 11. All right, ladies, join a dating website. I can't think of a place that's going to have more eligible men on Valentine's Day than a dating website. Now, there's a ton of dating websites out there, but you may want to take the opportunity to research reputable dating websites. Research reputable websites where you can position yourself to find an ideal match. One of the best ones that I'm aware of in the marketplace today is Match.com. So, with that being said, if you're looking for ways to survive Valentine's Day, why not put yourself in a position where you can go shopping? For a man, that is. At least if nothing pans out from it, you had a great time window shopping. Last but not least, tip number 12 for surviving Valentine's Day: sponsor a Valentine. We all know that the COVID-19 global pandemic has affected everyone. And I know if you're like me, you lost someone that you care about, you lost someone that you love. And unfortunately, you've got a lot of couples, particularly elderly couples, who lost a significant other. There's a lot of people who lost loved ones. You have a lot of wives who lost husbands, and you have a lot of husbands who lost wives. What better way to show an overwhelmingly amount of love to someone who is in need, while you, on the other hand, receive an overwhelming amount of pleasure and satisfaction, than to sponsor someone for Valentine's Day? So if you know somebody who lost a significant other, identify who that person is and send them a Valentine's Day gift. So ladies, that completes our list. We just went over the 12 steps that you can take to survive Valentine's Day in the middle of a global pandemic. Tune in next week.